Hi, I'm Alexander, and today I have prepared a list of best budget IEMs that you can get for under $30 in 2023. There are 8 IEMs on my list and 1 honorable mention. All IEMs have been released in 2022 or earlier, which means that they withstood the test of time. The IEMs on my list are in no particular order. Each IEM has its own pros and cons that we'll be covering in this video, and I will also share with you which IEM from this list is my favorite one. In addition, I will leave all the links to the products in the description of this video. So without any further delay, let's jump straight into the list. The first IEM on my list is CCA CRA. CRA doesn't need any special introduction as it was probably one of the most recommended IEMs in 2022. The IEM has a single 10mm composite polymer dynamic driver and it can be usually found for well under $20. Pros: well-extended bass, relaxed sound signature, good ergonomics and coherent sound. Cons: recessed mid-range and slightly unnatural instrument timbre. The next one on my list is Tanchjim Tanya. Tanchjim Tanya is yet another interesting ultra-budget IEM. It features a 7mm microdynamic driver and nowadays a rare bullet shape. It usually sells for under $25. Pros: non-fatiguing treble, good soundstage and organic timbre. Cons: the IEM lacks some dynamics and resolution, busy musical tracks can sound on this pair a bit cluttered, and non-detachable cable can be a deal breaker for some people. The next one is Moondrop Chu. It's another much recommended IEM of 2022, which is especially appealing to those familiar with Moondrop's in-house tuning. It features a 10mm nano-crystal coated composite dynamic driver with titanium coated diaphragm, and usually it comes under $20. Pros: metal shells, good build, good tonality and timbre, excellent value per dollar, and it comes with Moondrop spring ear tips, which cost $13 alone. Cons: average detail retrieval and soundstage width, non-detachable cable which can be a deal breaker for some people, and upper mids can sound a bit harsh on some tracks. The next one on my list is 7Hz Salnotes Zero. 7Hz Salnotes Zero is another praised IEM. It features a 10mm dynamic driver with a metal composite diaphragm and it comes at around $25. Pros: natural timbre, punchy bass, good treble extension and excellent price to performance ratio. Cons: it can be fatiguing during long listening sessions due to the tuning, note weight is lacking and bass quantity can be a deal breaker for some people. The next one is Tripowin Leath. Sometimes labeled as a poor man's K2, Leath features a 10mm LCP dynamic driver and usually comes at $26. Pros: excellent build, well-extended punchy and textured bass, neutral warm tonality and a natural timbre. Cons: upper mid-range can sometimes be harsh, the treble extension could be a bit better and IEM lacks in details. The next IEM on my list is Final Audio E500. E500 is usually overlooked IEM, but I recommend you to give it a try. It's another IEM on my list with a bullet shape. It features a 6.4mm dynamic driver and usually comes at $20. Pros: great performance per price ratio, comfortable fit, smooth and non-fatiguing tuning, and in addition the IEMs come with a full set of Final's E-Series ear tips which cost more than IEMs itself if purchased separately. Cons: non-detachable cable can be a deal breaker for some people, IEM lacks a bit in dynamics, and if you need a lot of bass you should look elsewhere. Next one on my list is QKZ HBB. It's a collaboration between Hawaiian Bad Boy and QKZ. It features a 10mm titanium coated diaphragm driver and usually comes at $20. Pros: excellent design, dynamic and engaging sound, excellent bass response, full and rich vocals and a good soundstage. Cons: bass amount can be too much for some people and tuning won't be appealing to those who seek neutral tonality, extensive detail retrieval or technicalities. Next IEM on my list is HiFi C2 MechWarrior. It's a new release from HiFi and it features a 10mm composite diaphragm dynamic driver and it comes at around $29. Pros: metal shells and a good build, engaging and fun sound signature, punchy and well-rounded bass, crisp treble and excellent technical abilities. Cons: treble can sound a bit unnatural and overall tuning can sometimes be slightly analytical and fatiguing. Now to the honorable mentions section. Some might already guessed it, so if you did, post the name of this IEM in the comments section below. And yes, it's a BLON BL03, which was released a few years ago. It features a 10mm carbon diaphragm dynamic driver and back in the day it would cost you $25. The price is now increased, inflation and stuff you know, but sometimes you can find it on sale below $30. Pros: metal shells and a good build quality, punchy bass, natural mid-range and overall warm tonality with a good soundstage. Cons: finding a good fit may take a lot of time and experiment, and if you need a neutral tuning, you need to look elsewhere. Let's summarize. It's really hard to name a clear winner here, as each IEM on my list is better at something than the rest. In addition, a lot of stuff is subjective in our hobby, so you need to decide for yourself. But to make things a bit easier, I decided to make categories and name a winner in each of these categories. So let's start. Most generous packaging and accessories, it's a tie between Moondrop Chu and Final Audio E500, mainly because both pairs come with ear tips that cost quite a lot of money compared to the price of the IEM, and also you can use these sets of ear tips with your other IEMs. Best stock cable. Honestly, none of the IEMs in this budget come with a really good cable, but if I had to choose, I would say that C2 MechWarrior from HiFi comes with the best cable. Now to the sound-specific nominations. Most sub-bass extension, CCA CRA, so if you need a lot of sub-bass, you won't go wrong with this IEM. Least sub-bass extension is a tie between Moondrop Chu and Final Audio E500. Most mid-bass impact, it's a tie between QKZ HBB and Tanchjim Tanya. It's really subjective, so out of those two, I'm leaning more towards QKZ HBB. Least mid-bass impact, Moondrop Chu. Most natural mid-range, it's a tie between Moondrop Chu and C2. While I think that Moondrop Chu mid-range might feel a bit more organic and natural, on some tracks I prefer the mid-range of C2 MechWarrior. Least natural mid-range, Tanchjim Tanya. Most treble extension and sparkle goes to C2 MechWarrior. Least treble extension, air and sparkle, Final Audio E500. And finally, I would mention that my favorite IEM out of this bunch is HiFi C2 MechWarrior. Alright guys, that's all from me for today and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to receive new video updates. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.